We are live now. It's been kind of a hectic, busy week, as most of you guys have been going through some like personal issues here for like 6 months, and that's all ended now, which is great. And it kind of makes lifts a lot of stuff off my shoulders now. But anyway, um, tonight we're open for open subject, just about anything that you guys want to talk about. Let's see, we got one person on here already. That usually goes up pretty fast here. There's probably more on there already. It takes a while to catch up. But open subject tonight. Anybody can talk about anything they want, except politics and religion. Okay, so all right, we're going up now. Married to a Filipina. Good morning, Steve. How you doing? Let's see. We get this chat up here so we can see it. Okay. Who else we got on here tonight? We got 8 people on here. I know some people just watch and listen. We'll see if we can get the subject matter going up here soon. It takes you a few minutes to usually get up and going. Let's see. Awesome, brother. Morning coffee. There we go. You in the United States, married to a Filipina? You must be. Morning. It says morning coffee, so I would take it you're probably on the East Coast. I'm guessing somewhere. Let's get up to 25 people. Let's get the questions going here. So we're just starting up here, guys. Usually takes a few minutes to get rolling here. Once we get the questions, how's it going? Jeb Repair is on here. Married to a Filipina? Absolutely, Steve. Where are you from? Married to a Filipina. Let's see. And you got other guys out there. Let's get some questions popping up here if you want. Anything you want to talk about? SRRVs. Or you can just chat back and forth if you want, if that's what you want to talk about tonight. Anything about the Philippines we can talk about. If you guys want to talk about other subjects, we can too, a little bit. This week here, actually this whole month here, I've been dealing with my health issues and stuff like that, but I'm getting a little bit better, actually. So that's a good thing. See, we're up to 27, 7 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. But let's get these questions going. Here we go. Rory Bellamy, what is the new divorce discussion? Legal divorce? Yes. Actually, some people, what they're talking about, and this is actually a good subject, Rory. I'm glad you brought this up. If some people think that if you bring divorce into the Philippines, it's gonna bring all these things from the United States over here, and it's gonna wreck the Philippines. I think the thing with the annulment pretty much kind of wrecks it anyway, because a lot of people stay married forever. They can get an annulment. It's very expensive, but they want to bring the divorce cost down very low to probably like $500 or even cheaper, I'm hearing. So I think it would actually make things better for a lot of people over here rather than, I think a lot of people are living with people and they're married, and it's just a big mess for people. So I think that the divorce law would actually be good. Some people say no. That's my thoughts, Married to a Philippine, Wisconsin here, buddy. On to Oconto Falls, Wisconsin, north of Green Bay. There we go. Rory Bellamy says, we already read that part. Leonard Marlin says, hi, Steve. Clearwater, Florida. Northern Colorado transparency. How long can you stay in the Philippines without a visa? Without a visa, you can stay in for 36 months on a tourist visa. And that, you say without a visa, you have to have a visa to stay here. It's a tourist visa that you come in on, okay? And you can stay here for 36 months. 36 months, okay? Some people are saying it's 29 and a half days or 60 days. I don't think that they passed the 60 days from people that I'm hearing that are coming in. Some people are saying it's 29 days and some people are saying 60. I haven't been able to verify that yet. Even online, a lot of the things are wrong still. So I just say it's 29 days. You need to buy a throwaway ticket, but after that, you can stay. You can stay up to 36 months. So I think that kind of resolves your question. I hope anyway. Michael L. Good evening, Stephen. Working from home today, knee deep in the XL. I missed the Philippines. There we go. How you doing, Michael? I took your advice. I took a snapshot of your picture of your thing the other day about the muscle relaxer, and I think it was naproxen. So I am going to talk to my doctor about that. Leonard Marlin says, I'm wondering if me and my wife have to get married in the States, even though we're married in the Philippines. No. If you're married in the Philippines, that's good enough. Back in the States, just show them your marriage certificate, your marriage license from over here. Married to a Filipino, one of your YouTube favorites, Steve. Oh, you're one of our YouTube. Thanks. Always trying to help others. You're a good man. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Lennon Marlin says she's coming on our marriage visa after approved. Let's see. Okay. Once you're once you get to the states, and I've done this before. You know, I was to my first my wife that I married that was a Filipina. She was actually on a fiance visa, but if you get them over on a marriage visa, it shows them that you're already married. You have your license. That's all you need to do is show them. You don't have to show anybody in the United States because you're coming over on that visa anyway, on the marriage visa. So you should be all good. Christopher Leroy, how is your stock account going lately? I had to take. I think I've told this already on in one of my videos that they made me close my account because I live over here. So we had to close. I wish I was still in Tesla. I wish I was still in the stocks that I was into. You know, I was really happy in those stocks. I like those stocks. I still swear by those stocks today. The same stocks. They were long-term stocks. They've gone up and down. Some people say, "Well, geez, that was bad advice." No, I said it was for 10 years. And people, after like 6 months when it dipped a little bit, I was buying more up until they made me, sell all my stocks. So I'm trying to find a place that I can do it now, is buy more stocks, and hopefully I will soon. So we'll see how that goes. Michael L says, tizanidine is a muscle relaxer which replaces the baclofen. Naproxen is the net NSAID, which replaces the paracetamol. Okay. Yeah, no, I noticed that, and they're both better for your kidneys and liver, I guess. I think that's what you were saying, Michael. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway, married to a Filipina says, we have been in the States now for 3 years. All good here. Let's see, we got 44 people on here so far. 18 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. We're not sure how long we're going to stay in here tonight, but I mean, I'm planning on staying on here for at least probably about an hour. So I don't think we're going to stay on the full 90 minutes tonight. I have some things I have to do, and it's been a long week. Let's see, Northern Colorado Transparency says, during the scamdemic, I purchased BSM and AM, Best Buys in life. There we go. Hey, whatever, floats your boat and gets you there, right? I know we have a lot of people on here that are into like cryptocurrencies, and I'm not really that much into cryptocurrencies, although I had made some money on Litecoin before, and I made a lot of money too. So I did pretty good. Leonard Marlin, information for those in the medical field or anyone who has to get a background check. It's taking me 2 weeks here in Florida before I can work. Interesting. I'm hearing a lot of people over here. When they come here, they're moving out of all the northern states for some reason. I guess the costs up there, they said the southern states are cheaper, but a lot of the people in the northern states are moving here now. I notice a lot of the calls that I get are from northern states more so than southern states, although we still get some southerners here too. Leonard Marlin, state, national, international background checks. Michael L says, my best stock buys were Moderna and Pfizer. There's a lot of great stocks out there right now to buy, especially when it drops. That's the best time to buy. And people say, oh, why would you get in there? That's the best time to buy because you're going to make the most money when it goes back up. So you just got to wait out the time. Some people that don't know how to deal with stocks or never dealt with stocks, I guess they just don't understand the way things work. And when you say long-term stocks, that usually means like 10 years, and it always gets me when you're talking about stocks and they lose money a year later. They're like, Steve, I lost 25% of my money. These are long-term stocks. Don't worry, they're going to bounce up and down. If you can't take the ride, then don't jump on, Arthur Ward says, I thought you were with TD. Yes, I was with TD Ameritrade. And they turned into Charles Schwab. Why did they make you sell? Because we're living in the Philippines, Arthur. And the same with Charles Schwab. They find out that you're living over here, and when you're logging into your account and they see that, even if you're using a VPN, they have a way to figure it out. And they found out that I was living over here. And they sent me a letter saying you need to close down your account. You're living in the Philippines, basically, out of the country, and you're not allowed to do that. And it's our policy. You need to close down your account. So I had to, get out. Christopher Leroy, is there an international stockbroker? Yes, they have international accounts, but you have to have like $75,000 in them, some of these accounts, and you can trade from outside the country. ROV floods everywhere in Metro Manila. Heavy rains in the afternoon. I didn't hear about that. We didn't have heavy rains here. We just have like fog here from Tal Volcano. We have Tal Volcano right now, and I don't know if you guys have heard this. The lake inside the cauldron in the volcano is almost boiling off. It's like 76 Celsius. I know where they have the measuring device for the temperature. It's 76 Celsius, so it's really really hot inside there, and it's sending a lot of steam into the air, and we're getting it over here. So during the day we get like heavy fog. Michael, the Japanese have a phrase about the Philippines: "Yukiyo, the floating world," much like the French word demi-monde. Let's see. Bob Phillips says, "Buy low, sell high. People don't have enough patience." No, they don't. Pat Keene says, "Hello, Steve. How's the body feeling today? Hope you're feeling well and happy." I'm actually doing pretty good today. My back's been doing pretty good most of today. This morning it wasn't. ROV says, "Rains helped against the smog in Manila." It's not really smog. That's mostly the volcano, I think. Michael L says, "I heard the Westpac WX, the ESDA is flooded. EDSA is flooded." That's what you mean, EDSA, not ESTA. Joe Cunningham, just FYI, T-Mobile Magenta plan has replaced with Go 5G for 75 or Go 5G for 90 monthly. Okay, that's interesting. So there's no more Magenta plan. Thanks for that news. That's good to know, Joe. Michael L., Google Fi beats T-Mobile any day. Arthur Ward says, "How do others keep their Schwab account? I am moving there in a couple of months." They use American accounts and they don't log on over here, and you don't use a VPN. They just leave their stuff in their account, and when they go back home, they do their trades or whatever. I would just open up a 75,000 international account if you got the money and just do it that way. But be careful. Don't do any trades from over here, is what I tell people. RLV floods not just in EDSA. Northern Colorado transparency, 78 Celsius is about 168 degrees. Yeah, and it's steaming hot. That's pretty hot. Excuse me for a second, guys. I got a bit of an allergy tonight, so you're going to have to excuse me tonight. Northern Colorado, let's see, Renee Jimenez, "I'm thinking about buying Bitcoin. What do you think? Not financial advice." I'm not a big fan of Bitcoin because, number one, it's so expensive. If I'm going to trade in something, I trade in the smaller coins. Just do smaller trading and make small gains that way. That's what I think. That's, Bitcoin, yeah, you can make small gains too by just investing a little bit. But I just don't like Bitcoin. I think it bounces around way too much, and it takes too much time to get the money back because it moves at a slower pace because of the size of the coin, the price of the coin and everything. I think you can make much better gains on the smaller coins if you can find a coin that you trust. And you have to have patience in cryptocurrency, and grab your gains when you got them. Don't wait and get greedy and think it's going to go up way higher, because they usually don't. Just take your gains when you have them on the table and then get out. Michael L says, "You should roll your own VPN through DigitalOcean or Amazon AWS." Leonard Marlin says, "I live in Florida and am extremely happy I kept my duplex because prices on rent, food, power, and gas are a third higher than I left 2 years ago." Let's see. Michael says, stay away from crypto. The governments of the world will stamp it out. I think crypto is kind of, I don't know if it's not getting stamped out, but they're taxing it and following it, and they're regulating it and stuff like that. It was meant to be like unregulated, and it kind of ticked me off when the government got involved with crypto and stuff. It's not something I'm really happy about. It's just, would I say stay away from it? No, you're gonna have to put it on your taxes though. And I'm not sure if some of these places, like these places that run your crypto, that hold your cryptocurrency, have to report back to the government now. I'm pretty sure they do. So let's see. Northern Colorado transparency. Government will stamp out dollars if they want to. Well, they're trying to get it so that we're a paperless, currency. You know, we're going to be using cards or whatever, we're fingerprints or something. You know, who knows? Eventually, I think that's the way we're headed, unfortunately. But I think we're always going to have some sort of paper currency out there. Tom BKK, Steve, I think that all anybody needs is an S&P 500 index fund and leave it alone. You don't need to complicate your life. Keep at it, one fund. Yeah, if you wanted, I suppose if you wanted to do something like that, that could be the way to do it too, and just leave it in a address back home and just do it that way and have somebody else back home on there in case something ever happens to you over here. You know, you could do it that way. And they'll leave you alone if they think that you're back in the States and you're not touching it because there's no way really tracking you. So that's probably a way around it. Zuri says, hi, Stephen. How about your health? I hope everything is okay. You know, I'm feeling better now that I got this weight lifted off my shoulders. Like I said, I can't really talk about it. It was some personal issues that I had going on. I wanted to talk about it a little bit, but the agreement is that we can't. But I'll just say that what happened I was happy about. I had a lot going on for the past 6 months, and it's gone. It's totally gone. And you know, we signed it. We'll have an agreement pretty soon going on. I can't say anything more than that about it, who it is or whatever. I'll just say that, you know, it's things are going better now. Leonard Marlin, Joe Cunningham, I just bought a new cell phone here in Clearwater for $135, and my monthly internet and cell plan is $55 a month. You know, I used to have Metro PCS or whatever it's called, and they were actually a pretty good company, and they're very reasonable too, and you paid monthly, but you could set it up so that your account would just take it out of your bank account monthly, and it was almost like, you know, having a regular plan, but it was a plan that you could go into the phone company and just pay it there, or you could set up your bank account and pay it that way, and I paid it that way. I'd pay like 2 days before it was due or whatever, and I was all set, you know. John Fetchko says, going back to Philippines January, we'll try to meet you. Sure, just let me know. I don't get to meet with everybody, but I try to meet with some people, so a lot of people want to meet up. But if you want to go to one of our get-togethers, you can meet that way too. And we are having a get-together on the 30th at the Evia Mall, okay, at Texas Roadhouse at 1:30. So the Evia Mall, Texas Roadhouse, it's in Bacoor, at 1:30. Okay, so if you guys want to go to Texas Roadhouse, we'll be there, and there'll be a few of us there. Michael L. says, cards are better than cash. I couldn't afford to go to the Philippines 3 times a year if the U.S. was a cash economy. Let's see. Now, I use cards and cash. It doesn't really bother me. Christopher Leroy says, we will be in trouble if the world decouples from the USA dollar. I think we will too. Let's see. Bob Phillips says, living in the Philippines, do you have income taxes to the Philippines and the U.S.? No. A lot of people, you know, argue back and forth about this. I actually talked to the PRA about this because people were saying, you know, that taxes have to be paid to the Philippines if you have a YouTube in the Philippines. Well, my YouTube is actually registered in the United States. I get paid in the United States, so I pay my taxes in the United States. It depends on where you're registered. If you're registered in the Philippines, then you're getting your check in pesos or something like that, then you would pay here in the Philippines. It depends where you registered it and where you started it. As far as living here and collecting a pension here, I'm on the Philippine retirement visa, and we pay our taxes back in the U.S. Okay, so on that also changes things too. So no, we do not pay taxes here for the most part. Some people do, depending on what you're registered or if you got a business over here. Okay, Bob Phillips, living in the Philippines, let's see, we already read that one. Leonard Marlin says, Joe Cunningham with T-Mobile. Married to a Filipina says, what do you use for your live chat, Steve? Most of my YouTube buddies use StreamYard, and it's pricey. I just use the regular YouTube live feature on here. I like it. I read off everything, obviously, and some of the other people have people calling in and stuff like that, and they have all this other stuff. I'm happy doing it this way because people can listen to it and I read their stuff. You know, Lou Anderson says, glad things are coming together. Thanks, Lou. Appreciate it, man. Michael L. says, Metro PCS is MVNO of T-Mobile. Is it MVNO? Yeah. Yeah, there's something to do with T-Mobile. I did know that. Joe Cunningham, I have Magenta plan and T-Mobile said I can keep it for as long as I want for $50 a month. That's not that bad, Joe. It's a great deal, I think, because you can get your codes and stuff like that sent to you over here. But when you're not using it, they say you should just shut it down. That way, they don't know that you use. Because after like 6 months, I think they can shut you down. So be careful of that. If they know you're over here for more than 6 months, I heard they shut you down, or after 3 months or something like that. So only use it when you need to. Tom, and shut that phone off or take the chip out so they can't track you. Tom BKK, Steve, are you familiar with the Market Basket store in Chelsea area? Yes, I am, and also in Lawrence, Massachusetts. I was from the Lawrence area, but I also know Chelsea quite well. My father actually passed away in Chelsea. He was living up at the Soldiers' Home up on the hill there, and the Soldiers' Home was all changed, I guess. It's the oldest and largest store in the area. I have heard you talk about Chelsea on a number of occasions. Yes, about the Soldiers' Home. I have friends that live up there too, and family that live in the Chelsea Everett area. Actually in Everett and Abbott Avenue. Tom BKK, I think it's fairly close to the Chelsea Soldiers' Home you've talked about. Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's not too far away from there, actually. Chelsea is very small, so it's very, very small. It's a small community. Joe Cunningham, Magenta will not be offered, but if you have the plan, you can keep it. RLV says, there is an American chiropractor in Greenbelt Mall, Makati, Dr. Michael Quillis of Mabuhay Chiropractic. I use Dr. Rob. Dr. Rob he has chiropractic centers all over around Manila. So if you're looking for a good chiropractor, he's a bit pricey, but I think he's good. And you don't always get him. You get some of the other people that work at his places, and they're all trained by him, I believe, or they work with him. And they're all decent. They're all good people. Northern Colorado Transparency, a computer can track people, their money, their spending habits, and much more. In the future, cash will be extinct. I think that's what it says. Some of your thing gets cut off at the end for some reason, because if you use a long name, it cuts you off on iPads for some reason. Married to a Filipina, thank you. Leonard Marlin says, Joe Cunningham, I guess they added internet at my home for $5 a month. Michael L. says, Northern Colorado, good cash is obsolete and gives no rewards. Marlene Pineda says, Filipina married to Filipino, watching you from Rainy, Maryland. Let's see. Lou Anderson, I have Magenta. Married to a Filipino. Thank you, Marlene. Let's see. And tell Lan, if you pay cash for a vehicle in the Philippines, you get a discount? No, I don't think so. You might get a discount if you talk to them. It depends on the place. Some of the places that I've been with people, some places will give you a cash break and some places won't. But most places, if you pay for some things, they'll give you a cash break, like at SM for major purchases and stuff like that. And at some of the appliance centers, I would imagine if you really talk to them at some of these places, if you say, listen, I'm going to walk, I'll go someplace else, some of them will back down and say, okay, we'll give you a deal. They might give you 5 or 10% off or something like that. So it's best to just negotiate. If you say you're going to walk, they get scared, especially when there's a lot of money involved. Let's see. Renee Jimenez, I use Mint Mobile. They use T-Mobile Network for $201 a year paid ahead. Yeah, I've heard of Mint before. A lot of people have talked about that. That's like a cheaper service of phones. Renee Jimenez, 5 gigabytes a month. That's not too bad, I guess. Joe Cunningham, Leonardo Marlin, I get extra discount through my company. Until Lan says message retracted. Okay. Marlene Pineda, you don't get a discount paying cash for a car over here. There are places, Marlene, that will do it if you walk. If you say you're going to walk, they might take off a couple percentage points or something like that. But most, yeah, you're right, most won't. But there are used car dealerships around here that will. And I've seen some places, but yeah, you're true. It is true that most of the major car dealerships will not. Leonard Marlin, when I bought my van and even our 2 scooters and only got 590 PHP. Sad. Let's see. Michael L. says Mint is another MVNO. Until then, I get a discount on a new Ford by paying cash at Ford Makati. See, there are places out there that will do it, like I said. So, Tom BKK, Steve, good to hear you got Get your personal items taken care of. I do agree with you. I think that can play a part in your stress and health. Yeah, Tom, that it definitely plays a part in sciatica. Sciatica can be caused by stress, and a lot of people don't know that sciatica is caused by stress in some cases. Not all of it's caused by stress, but it can make it worse. It can aggravate it or even bring it on. RLV says, for your viewers suffering from depression here in the PH, they may get help from Natasha Goldborn Foundation offices in Bel Air, Makati. YouTube won't allow me to post the contact number. No, they will not. Kendall Thorne says, does everyone in Manila or Cebu take card payments? No. Some places do. Actually, the places here kind of like cash better than most things. Like if you go into McDonald's, they want cash. McDonald's back home would take credit cards in some of the McDonald's I used to go to. Lately, they have those machines now, and I guess you can pay credit cards on some of those, but some of the McDonald's aren't up to speed yet with that, so it's still strictly cash. Kendall Thorne says, does everyone in Manila or Cebu let's take card? No, we already just read that one. Def says, yes, you do get discounts for card purchase, especially when paying cash for the whole amount. Yes, some of the places will, but there are places that do not too, Jeff. So remember that. So you can't say all of them do that. But Joe Cunningham, Steve, how I climate in how is the climate in Calamba Laguna? How is it there to retire? Actually, it's a nice area. Laguna is a very, very nice area, Joe. In fact, that's where Rich Sinfuls lives, and if you want to talk, he lives over in that area in Laguna, Santa Rosa. And you can check out his house. We did a video on it just a few weeks ago. Michael L. SM and Shakey's takes cards. Yes, they do. Yeah, there are places over here. A lot of fast food places like Burger King and stuff like that will not take cards. So, but there are places that are taking cards now, and if they have that like kiosks there where you type in what you want, some of those kiosks do take cards and some do not. Kendall Thorne, can you pay your rent with a card payment? If you use Airbnb, you can, yeah. Some people come over here and they rent strictly through Airbnb. There are a few people that do that in my group, actually. Most of them are short-term people, but there are people that do long-term. I've heard of a guy down in Cebu. He found his place on Airbnb and he likes it, and he rents it for like 6 months at a time. And he says one time he had to leave for like a week or something like that. So he went someplace. I guess he went to Vietnam or something like that, and then he came back and went back into his place. And he just put his stuff in his landlord, well, I guess you call it landlord, Airbnb people's home for a few days, like a week or whatever, and then came back and moved right back in. So he went on a little trip, and I mean, it kind of sucks, but they left it on Airbnb, unfortunately, which they should have took it down for a long-term rental, because you never know what's going to come up, and then put it on later. But I guess they figured he might leave sooner or later, and it was kind of his problem. You're better off renting outside of Airbnb, and it's a lot cheaper too. Just FYI on that. But I don't know if Airbnb offers you any safety because you're going through them. Maybe they do, and maybe that's why he likes it that way. Because some people have gotten in sticky positions by doing regular rentals, but Airbnb does give you some protection, I would imagine. Let's see, Leonard Marlin, buy and build a house, no more rent. No, Leonard, I still go rent, man, because you can get up and move whenever you want, and you can't own it. It goes in your wife or your girlfriend's name, so why would you do that and take that risk, Leonard Marlin says, less street. Zane Underwood says, hey, Steve, thank you for all you do. I was wondering is fish cheaper than pork and chicken in the Philippines? Yes. Yes, it is. You can go to most of the fish markets. It depends on what kind of fish you're buying, too. But yeah, fish is fairly cheap over here. Tilapia and stuff like that, and a lot of sea fish. Leonard Marlin, stress, yes. Northern Colorado transparency, Airbnb is sweet from my global travel. Dickie Spaz says, hey Steve, I'm prepping for my colonoscopy tomorrow morning. I feel sorry for the toilet. You know what you do? Just go get a burrito at Taco Bell. That'll clean you right out, Dickie. Save you some money from using all those pills and stuff. Or go get some street food up in Manila or something, So that's the way to go. Actually, I kind of use like I did that before, and I didn't use the medicine that they use. I use all natural medicines, and actually, the doctor was surprised when I told him. He says, "Man," he says, "it was perfect." He says, "I could see everything." So, not that I want to get gross on here or anything, but I mean that's. Michael L says, "Be advised that Filipina eat fish eyes." Yes, some of them do, and they say it's good, but I wouldn't eat them. Marlene Pineda says, "I have home for sale in Pandan Antique, if anyone is interested." Antique is a nice area. You're talking about near Iloilo, in Panay, I take it, right, Marlene? I used to go to Bugasong. Leonard Marlin, I have my land and house in my wife's name and had her sign a 25-year lease giving me full control of property and house, even if we split up. I heard, Leonard, that isn't legal. That's what people have told me. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what people have told me. They says that doesn't work that way. We had some person on here that said they had connections with an attorney and checked into it and says that's not legal. So I don't know. I'm just saying what they said. I still wouldn't do it because if you go into court, they can wipe all that stuff out. RLV second on that fish cheaper than pork and chicken. Yes. Zane Underwood, Michael. I'm not a big fish eater, guys, here, so I just know that fish is cheaper here because I've seen it at the market. It's relatively cheap. William Hickey, enjoying your channel from Antipolo. Thank you, William. Good to see you on here tonight, man. Michael Ells has had a colonoscopy, stayed conscious through it, and saw what the doctor saw. They wouldn't let me snip my own polyps, though. There you go. I would hope that they wouldn't, Michael. Yeah, colonoscopies are always fun. Let's see, we got some 97 people on here, 34 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. 95 now. William Hickey, being here for 2 months. Welcome aboard, William. Good to see you on here, man. We got a lot of new people coming in. We got a new guy here. Guy's name is Tony. And Tony came to visit me today, and we had a really good long talk here today. So we actually talked for about 3 or 4 hours, I think. So he was here visiting. Let's see, Christopher Leroy says, have to assume that once your money leaves your hand, it's gone. Yes. Christopher Leroy says, bang, thumbs up. Thanks, man. I'm a little bit slow today here, guys. I've had a long day, and I was up this morning. I couldn't sleep well last night, so that's why I say we're only going to do like about 60 minutes, or maybe we'll do a little longer. We got a good count on here, so I might stay on longer tonight. Marlene Pineda, the house is an hour away from Boracay. There we go. River is in the back of the house. It is clear title in my name. I was born in the PI. Eric Cable says, what is the cost of Viagra? From what people are telling me here, Viagra here is the best way to get it. Just get the generic brand. But you can get the name brand too, and that's a lot more expensive. But just get the generic brand. Tell your doctor you want to get the generic brand of it, and that's the way to go. Tom BKK, Steve, everybody over 50 should get a colonoscopy every 5 years. That's what they recommend. I'm 64 and I've had 3 of them. Every 5 years you're supposed to get one, Tom. That's what my doctor told me. Michael L. Fish, chicken, pork, steak, etc. It's all protein. I do draw the line at balut and fish eyes, however. There we go. Same here. I will not touch balut. Joe San Augustine. My house that I had built is in both my name and my wife, dual citizen, U.S. and PI. However, the land is in my wife's name. Okay, I got you. Yeah, because you're going to have the house in your name. But still, I think if you go into court, if she owns the property, how are you going to get to your house, if you go through a divorce or something? That's why I say it's just better to rent. And rent's so cheap here. Michael Dooley said, or do a long-term lease under the same amount or something like that. Hello from Ohio. How you doing, Michael? Good to see you on here. Welcome from Ohio. Welcome to Ohio, I should say. Dickie Spaz says, hope to get some resolution with your back. MRI last month showed I have bulging disc in addition to sciatica. I'm able to manage with walking, massage, and acupuncture. I got to get the acupuncture soon. My problem is in the morning because I can't walk in the morning. Literally can barely walk. I have to hold the walls to walk to go to the bathroom in the morning until my medicine kicks in. my medicines are all gone out of my system from the night. So when I get up in the morning, I'm basically useless for sometimes an hour to 4 hours. Michael L says sildenafil and other PDE5 inhibitors are cheap. Yes, sildenafil is not that expensive here. Kendall Thorne says, "What's the best area in Manila, and what can you expect to pay for a bedroom condo?" You know, I say Alabang is one of the better places with decent deals there. If you're looking, Pasai's a great place. This it depends what you can live with too, because some people don't want to live in the really high end places. They want to live like in the middle. Pasai's great. There's a lot of places in Manila. BGC's on the expensive side. You're paying almost American prices. That's why I say Alabang. It's almost like a gift. Alabang has everything that BGC and Makati has, and it's probably just as good, if not better. So I mean, I would say Alabang is the way to go. Zane Underwood, in the U.S., it's still like fish and seafood is the most expensive, followed by pork and chicken. I think because the Philippine Islands are surrounded by fish that they're so cheap. And plus, you have to remember that the fishermen don't get paid much, so you save there too. In the United States, fishermen make a lot of money. Tony Bologna says, married to a Filipina, got her here on a K1 4 years ago, moving there next year. John Fetchko says, woke up during colonoscopy saying, oh, ow. Okay, William Hickey says, from New Jersey, I lived in the middle of the Middle East for 30 years, met my Filipina girlfriend there, been together 8 years now. Philippine, it's funny because a lot of guys, and I want to touch on this, is a lot of guys think that Filipinas are way better than Western women. They're more likely to stick it out with you. I'd say the divorce rate is just about the same, to be honest with you. Michael Dooley says, I'm working on moving to the Philippines. Actually, I think if you take a woman out of the Philippines and you bring her back to the States, I would say that the divorce rate might even be higher than a regular Western marriage between two Westerners. It might be worth checking out, but everybody that I met back home that married Filipinas, almost all of them ended up in divorce. As soon as one happened, it was like a domino effect, because the girls talk with each other and they say, "Hey, you got to try it on the outside. I'm leaving my husband." It's that merry test and the gossip, and they tend to listen to each other. Christopher Leroy, are the veggies there treated with pesticide or herbicide, wax coating, etc.? I'm not really sure about that. A lot of the veggies here are the same veggies you get back home. They just get sent to the United States frozen. So let's see. Zane Underwood, beef is ridiculous right now. $30 for a ribeye, not fisheye. Okay. Michael L. at John, morphine works wonders for pain. Yes, it does. Marlene Pineda, the only VA, the VA only do color guard instead of acupuncture. Chiropractor didn't help me. Yeah, chiropractor, it helped me a little bit. I do get some. I don't get 100% relief. I get some. I get more mobility out of it. That's all. That's what I'll give them. The pain goes away a little bit, but I get more mobility. It says, Lynn says, message retracted. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Here in the Philippines now, heat is getting to me. Being here for 5 weeks, no AC though, thinking about going back to the U.S. and bring my girlfriend to the States. I don't know what to do. I wouldn't take them back to the States, for sure. That's just me. I did it before. It didn't work out for me too well either, so it happens to the best of us. Lynn says, good day. That was a long time ago, though. I was in my 20s, Michael L. says, John, I was awake and clinically level with the doctors during my colonoscopy. George, hi all. How you doing, George? Good to see you on here, man. Northern Colorado says, the great protein myth. Dickie Spess says, Marlene, the Cairo didn't do anything for me either. Yeah, Cairos, they work for some people more than others. I'm not sure why. I think that if you got a bulged disc, I don't think it's really going to help you that much. That's just my thoughts. It does give you some more mobility, though. Leonard Marlin says, we bought land and bought our house to avoid having to pay our rent there, because on Small Island and Garden City, rent for a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom go for $400 to $600 a month. $400 to $600 a month is that not that bad though when you look back at the United States, and in Boston they're paying $1,500 for a studio. So I mean, if you're retired in Boston, in the Boston area, um, look at that. $400 to $600 is a steal. Michael L says, never bring a Southeast Asian to the West. You are no longer the exotic one. The Southeast Asian is. Yes. And the guys are looking at them, they're hitting on them, and they don't care if you're married or not. And that's exactly what happened in my case, and it happened in a lot of the other people's cases that I knew too. They just, they look for more money. Maximus, Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Get a split type aircon. Much cheaper than going to the USA. Let's see. I just bought this new one. We had a Carrier before, and the Carrier finally kicked the bucket this past week. The motherboard was gone in it, and the guy said they couldn't get another one, so I just put this in. I put in a 2 horsepower this time, and it's like icy cold in here right now. Actually, this room is kind of cold, and it's set on 25 right now, and it's cold. So, William Hickey, family here is number one. I love it. Kids, grandkids, etc. Leonard Marlin, we use that extra money to go to nice resorts 3 or 4 times a week. Northern Colorado Transparency, no meat in years. Heard it all. I walk miles daily. RLV says best place for condo living in Metro Manila. Manda Luyong, neighborhood of BGC and Makati, but cheaper, 20 to 30 minutes apart from using the rails. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Good points. Northern Colorado says diet is key to health, not what people think. There you go. Michael says I will take pharmacology over chiropractic any day of the week. Michael Dooley says, so yes, do not bring to the States? I wouldn't bring a girl from here to the States. No, I would not do that. I would stay here. That's just my advice. But people do go back and they work out for years. So I mean, that's just my thoughts, though. But like they were saying earlier in the string of conversation here, that if you bring them back there, they're the exotic one. Over here, you're the exotic one. Keep that in mind. Michael Dooley says, my wife changed once she got here. There you go. Michael L says, besides, if I brought a Filipina back to the States, I would still be in the States. The idea is to escape the West. Yes. I mean, most guys that come here, they come here for the cheaper life, cheaper rents. The Filipino women, obviously, the beaches, the warmer weather, all that stuff, Marlena Pineda, you guys are generalizing Filipina. Marlene, I mean, I'm saying that from what I've seen, okay, back in the States, and I've seen it firsthand in a group of Filipinas that I knew back there that were married to American guys, all of them went through divorces. And it was like within a year. Once the divorces started with the first one, it went right through the whole group. I've seen Filipinas that were married to Americans in a church that I belonged to back there, all went through divorces. I've seen guys in the military that were married to Filipinas. They took them back to the States. Within a year or two, they were divorced. I would say that the rate is just as high, if not higher, with the Filipinas going back to the States. Now, over here, it's a different ball game. Now, I'm not trying to generalize. I'm just telling you what I've seen, from my point of view. So, let's see. Michael says, I buy a house in Rodriguez, Philippines. Peter B says, hey Steve, question. I am 38 years old, veteran, thinking about moving to the Philippines. Can I do the SRRV for veterans now, or I still have to wait till 50? You have to wait till you're 50, but they might have some changes coming soon, but it's not for the veterans ones, for a new one, so you'd have to come up with more money. I'm hearing rumors, so, and it might come true. We'll find out in January what's going on. Javi says, did you have issues with Meralco taking your power meter? We pay our bill, but end up on the delinquency list. That's happened to guys over here too. Yeah, you pay your bill and then you go in there and they lose their bills. They know that most people throw their bills away after they pay them. And yes, that has happened to a couple people over here. It does happen. It's actually quite common, Javi. RLV says aircons are much cheaper now in Metro Manila. I paid $1,000 even for this one here up behind me. for 2 horsepower, and it's a really nice one. I forget the brand name. It's something like, I can't even read it because of my glasses. But it's a good brand, and I like it. It has all kinds of bells and whistles too, and it seems to um, run fairly cheap from what I can see. I don't hear the compressor running much and stuff like that, so it's kind of nice. Lynn says, Michael Dooley, change in what way? When women, I think you're talking about the women that go in the United States. They change. They just, you have to remember that they're the exotic one. Over here, we're the exotic one, and the girls are looking at us, even if we're older. Um, I think going back to the States, the girls are looking at the guys are looking at the Asian girls back there, and they're hitting on them, even though they're married. And that's what happens in a lot of these cases. William Hickey, Antipolo is a great place, and sometimes it's the girls hitting on the guys too. So, remember that. Antipolo is a great place in the mountains, but definitely not the province as some people describe. Let's see. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Says my rent is 5,000 PHP pesos. My electric bill was 900 PHP. Thinking about getting one of those portable air cons, but the plugs are different, and some say they can't use an adapter. Most must be required to use. I don't know. I'm not sure if you can use the adapter with those. And I would imagine you probably could. Married to a Filipina, divorce rates for Filipinas and K-1 visa are far less than traditional marriage in the U.S. Average divorce is 8 years. K-1 visas is over 80% success rate with no divorce. I don't know, it probably depends where you live too, But from what I've seen, I think the rate's higher in some places. I'm just being honest with you from what I've seen. So I don't know I'm not sure where you got your statistics here. I would definitely say that's off in a big way. Now, if I know in the U.S. for sure it's a lot higher than that, and over here it's less. Leonard Marlin says diet is key to health, and I'm finding to eat the same here in the States, just as I do in the Philippines, is costing me 100% more. Yeah, I'm hearing that too. George Fair, hello Steve. Michael Dooley, I have better luck in the Philippines finding a female than I will ever have in the USA. Yes, I agree. I think that's true for most of the guys that come over here. I think back in the U.S., you got to settle for somebody that's more closer to your age and stuff too, and sometimes a lot less better looking than the girls over here. It's the girls over here, even in their 50s, most of them look pretty good. There's this channel I started watching. It's got this like 50-year-old woman on there. She's back in California, and I just saw her just recently, and I tuned into her channel. She's beautiful. She's in her 50s, and she looks really good. And she actually has a pretty good channel. I've been following her a little bit. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try to get the name of it for next week or the one after. And I'll put her name out there. You guys can check it out. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Says I've known 3 couples married to Filipino. Only one was still married. Think the real divorce rate is probably 80% no matter where she's from. Yes. Michael L. When I was growing up, one of the neighbors had a Japanese woman as a war bride. They divorced as soon as the children were grown. Zane Underwood, In and Out or Five Guys? I'm not sure. I'm not really big on those 2 places, to be honest with you. A foreigner telling the truth of the Philippines. Good to see you again. Great info channel. Thanks, bud. Dickie Spaz is 20 years together, 18 married. The entire time in the States. Only a 5-year age gap helps. Yeah, the age gap is substantial because if you're with a girl and she's like 19 years old, even if you're 30 or 35, I think it kind of, like you marry a girl that's 19 or 20 years old or 21 years old or something like that. Let's face it, they're like a 12-year-old girl in the United States. It's just a different, I don't know, they're just the age, they don't have the psychological growth that we have in the States, I don't think. And I'm not putting down Filipino women. I'm just saying it's a different, and it's the culture, I think, too. I noticed the girls over here that are 18 years old. If you put them up against a girl that's 18 years back in the States, it's definitely a difference between the two. I can't put my finger exactly on what it is, but there is a difference. RLV says, Steve, that is a good deal for 2 horsepower. Yes, it's actually a decent air conditioner too. And you put it on low for the fan, and man, it just blows out the whole house. It keeps the whole house cool. Curious says, hey man, read that article about 50% of homeless population in the U.S. are over 50 years old. Numbers not seen since the Great Depression. I posted the article a few back, copy and paste. A foreigner telling the truth in the Philippines. Dickie, 35 years with us and 3 years. I couldn't read the rest of it. Gets cut off because your name's so long. Marlene Pineda, sad for them. They shouldn't hang out with other Filipinas. Too much chismes. They should work hard, make money, and save for the future. I agree with you, Marlene. That's part of the problem is the chismes back there, and I think I mean, you're a Filipina, so obviously you would know this. I mean, when you have a group of Filipinas, people get caught up in that gossip, and I think it destroys the Filipinas. And I've seen it happen even in my own neighborhood here. Stars and Stripes, from a social point of view, crypto has more negative than positive use for illegal activities, ransoms, etc. I don't know if I'd say that Stars and Stripes. I mean, some people might say that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really hot on crypto like some people are. I like crypto. I think it's kind of cool. It's something new. I think it was nicer when it was in its younger stages than it is now. I think there's too many of them now. William Hickey, healthcare is very reasonable. I'm on blood thinner. Monthly in the U.S. is a minimum of $650. Here it's $80 on the current exchange rate. There is a substantial difference, guys, for medicines and healthcare over here. It's way cheaper for dental care, healthcare, and everything. And a lot of people think like when they come over here that you're still going to need $1 million policy or something like that. You really don't need $1 million policy over here. You need probably like $100,000 policy would do you, unless you really want to have some major coverage for something for outside of the country in case you had to leave to get something done like in Boston or the United States or Thailand or something like that. But I think if you had $100,000 policy and it covers everything, you should be okay in most cases. Leonard Marlin says it's not just Filipinas married to a Bulgaria. And she left me too. First marriage left a bad taste in my mouth. Waited 28 years to remarry to my Filipina. Let's see. Dickie's Best says, Ed, birth rate in the USA is in a rapid decline. I think that's why they're probably letting people cross the borders. Joe Cunningham, please hit the like button. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that, guys. 55 thumbs up, 99 people. Dickie Spaz says, Jeff, 35 years. Congrats. Tom says, have you heard about brownout problems in Alabang? I'm thinking it might be a nice area to live in after all the good things you have said. I have not heard about brownout problems in Alabang at all. Alabang is a really nice town. I don't think that they have brownouts there. And they have bike riding trails. You can pretty much ride on a bicycle almost anywhere in Alabang. And it's a city. It's beautiful. It's nice. It's just a beautiful area of part of Manila. John Fetchko says 25 Celsius was my number on split units in the Philippines. I used to have mine on 23, John. Before, when I had my smaller one, I always had to put it on 23, but it was always going 24/7. It was working 24/7. I think this one here is going to actually save me money. I hope anyway. I'll find out within a month, and we'll see what the bill is going to be. Michael Dooley says, my wife went from loving me in the Philippines to completely hating me, and actually told me I hate you, to the point of treating me very nasty and always wanting to argue with me and raise her fists. Michael, I kind of had the same thing going on too. So I'm not sure why that happens, but yeah, when you get them back to the States, something changes, and I think they're looking for a way out. So they start a way out, to get a divorce. I've heard that from other guys too, many other people, that they change when they get back there, and I think that's the way to try to, get you to divorce them or whatever. They're looking for a divorce actually. In some cases, not all of them. I've seen some marriages that have lasted, but most of them do not last. Christopher Leroy, after all the time you've been in the PH, do you still get skin taxed? For the most part in my town, I do not. Okay? Occasionally I do here and there, but most of the people I know here now, and they know that I know the prices. So when somebody tries to give me the skin tax, I just kind of like, come on, guys. I know what the price is, so don't tell me. And they'll say, okay, sir, yes, I'll do it for that price. And I usually give them like an extra few pesos or whatever. Michael Payne, been married to my Filipino hothead for 25 years. LOL. Michael says even the elite of the 20-year-olds such as pharmacology students and comp sky has some maturity issues. And that's what it is. It's like the maturity issues. When you're looking at a 20-year-old girl over here, she's not equal to a 20-year-old in the United States. And I'm not saying all of them are like that. I've met some people that at the church I used to go to that the 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds had a much more maturity than some of the people outside the church. And I'm not sure if it was because they were in church or whatever, but the girls there were very mature in that church, and we were doing like missionary stuff, and the kids in that group were phenomenal. They were really mature, and there was a few in there that were immature too, but the majority of them were like the 15 and 16 and 17-year-olds were as mature as like a 20 or 30-year-old. I thought, it's just the way they talked and the way they looked at things. I'm not sure why, but but the majority of people here, I think, that are young, there's a mature issue there in some cases. I see it. I think it might have to do with the phones too. That's just my thoughts on that. Renee Jimenez says, how bad is the smog VOG in the Manila area? Well, where I'm at right here, it's bad. We got some real, like, it's like a fog here. It's really bad. You can smell a little bit of sulfur in it once in a while. It's not good at all. Leonard Marlin says, just talked to my sister last night. 40,000 and over homeless in Portland, Oregon. That's an incredible count, man. 40,000. That's a small city. Dan Carr says, forget about your age, live your life. Exactly. Michael Dooley says, do not bring your woman from the Philippines to the USA. I agree with that, as we talked about just in the past few strings here. Michael L says, Nix 9, no, never on bringing Philippines to the States. Michael also says, medical is far cheaper than the Philippines. Definitely. Jeeves Winston says, I saw a thing about pag. Is it that prevalent? No, it's not. It's not that prevalent. It is in certain sections and barangays in Manila, but it's not like something you see all over the place. No. Kendall Thorne, would $20,000 US dollars be enough to self-support for healthcare? I think so, as long as that was for your emergency inpatient healthcare. You might want to buy a cheap plan from Pacific Cross, and add to that to just kind of boost it a little bit more. And Kendall, if you need some help on that, talk to Michael Onstad. Okay, he's on Messenger. It's ONSTAD. Michael Onstad. Okay, Michael Dooley. How much is the internet there, and is it hardline or wireless? It's hardline. They also have wireless too, and it varies in prices from one town to the next. Believe it or not, it's hard to give you like a price because they have. It depends on the Mbps and stuff like that. I pay was like about 2,500 for 300 Mbps. I can get it higher than that though too if I want to. Now I could just have to go into the company and tell them. Kendall Thorne, I don't plan on paying for health insurance. Lynn says, use inverter AC. This has an inverter or a fridge. It'd save a lot of money. Definitely want to get an inverter in your ACs. Stanley Tappan says, America is fast decline. Can't imagine the impact with this mass influx migration when it comes to crime rate and inflation in the housing and rental market, as there is not enough housing to go around. William Hickey, oysters on the half shell or 90 cents in Makati. Had a full 60-minute massage, proper, no funny business, for $20. Best massage ever. Here for $10 you can get an hour and a half massage. That's about the rate. William Hickey says, so much you can do here for a very reasonable amount to keep your health. Jim $6.50 a month, $12. It depends. For a good gym, you're gonna pay more than that though. Dickie Spaz says Stanley mass migration is all about having more people paying taxes to keep the gravy train going. I kind of agree with Dickie what he's saying. I think that's and also they're basically undocumented Democrats. They're trying, the Democrats let these people flood in here because they know that they're going to vote Democrat. That's why I call them undocumented Democrats. I mean, I'm not trying to play politics here or talk politics. I'm just saying I've heard that term thrown around. I thought it was a pretty good term, actually. Timmy says the Jenner just isn't the same without Bama. He kept it real and was fun, too. Let's see. France Xavier says, hello from Switzerland. Last time we talked on the phone, I was staying in Sorsogon. Michael L. says, most people in the Philippines are believers only by social convention, not because they really examine themselves or their philosophy. I notice that Filipinos, when it comes to, one thing I notice here is religion. People will snap from one religion to the next, and they have this weird way of thinking about religion. I don't really fully understand it, but like a Christian is not really faithful to their Christianity over here, like Americans are. Like when you pick a religion in the United States, you pretty much stick to it, or you stick to that kind of, like you might go from like Catholic to Pentecostal or something like that, but over here to go from like Muslim from Christianity or something, it's just, they don't even blink an eye. They kind of think that they're the same, and they're not. They're not even close. Damn cars, I have a Medicare Advantage plan that reimburses emergency medical internationally. You need to have a USA residence. Yeah, those are, once you're, I heard about this stuff, and I think that if you're over here for a certain amount of time, like over 90 days, I don't think they pay for you. You might want to look into that, damn cars, because it's dangerous thinking that you got to come over here and live over here on that, because I don't think you can. Stanley Tappa says, message retracted. RLV says, pag is prevalent in the Tondo area, cooked adobo style. Yes. They also make soups and stuff like that from it, too. And it's very dangerous. Michael says, those channels doing pag specialize in poverty porn, more disgusting than actual porn. If you wish to help someone, don't brag about it. Both Christ and the old gods will bless you for your good deeds. Yeah, I've watched some of those channels, and they do profit off showing poor people and stuff like that. I do agree with you on that, Michael. That's one reason why we don't show that stuff much. When I walk the streets and stuff, I will show people on the streets, but I do cut out a lot because I just don't think it does a good service to show those people. Timmy, the massages, I'll tell the story rather than show them. The massages are Mickey Mouse. They're just wanting to milk. I'm not even going to get into that one. Jeeves Winston, the woke culture is embedded in New England. Yes, it is. It's almost over for the middle class. Michael Dooley says, how much do you spend on food in a month roughly? Michael, my habits here, if I didn't eat it when I was a kid, I won't eat it now. So for me, my food bill's a lot, and and I have people living in my house and stuff. So I would say probably $600 a month or something like that. Probably somewhere around there between going out to eat and everything. Maybe even more than that sometimes. Jeeves Winston, the taxes and entitlement spending is unreal. Leonard Marlin, we've had such an influx of people moving into Florida. I am seeing a ton of new construction all over the state. One thing I was going to mention earlier, and I should have mentioned it when we were talking about it, is that housing over here, there's a lot of empty places. You can drive through some of these housing places, and 3/4 of them are empty, and they built all these homes, and they're still building more. And it's like, well, why don't we fill up these empty ones first? And some of them are just becoming like empty shells, and they sit there for like 5 or 10 years empty, and they got a roof on them and everything, and they're perfectly good houses for people that are in poverty, and they could put people in there, and they should put people in those places. Timmy says it's genre, not Jenner. John Fetchko says, said it this before, Angeles area has some definite TRICARE advantages. Yes. There's TRICARE down in our area, too. There is one hospital in our area, I believe, too. It's not too far from me. I think it's over in Imus, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Miss Pee Wee Barnes in the Philippines. Good evening, Steve. It's rainy in Iloilo. How you doing, Pee Wee? Leonard Marlin says, I wonder if it's that way in every state now. Michael L. says, Steven, it's strange that I get more acceptance for being an atheist in the Philippines than I do in the States. I think the Philippines is a pretty acceptable country, Michael, as far as whatever you're at, whether you're no matter what religion you are. I think they don't understand. They just don't really care about religion as much as we do back in the United States. I don't think. They're more accepting of everything, both sexuality, everything here. And I think that's why some people come to the Philippines. We I've seen a lot more people that are gay coming over here. Even in our group, we have people that are gay. We don't care. You know what I mean? And let me tell you something. I think it's the same way with religion too. I think that's why some Indians are starting to come over here now. We have actually a lot of Indians in the group, but most of them, those Indians that have come over here, are also Christians or Catholics too. But I have seen some Indians that have come over here that are Muslim or they're Hindu or whatever, and they're all accepted. They're all welcome here. They make a lot of friends very quickly. Dickie Spaz says, "What? That's sorry to see, Jeeves. It's getting bad in Arizona also." Tom BKK, medium home price in that greater Boston area hit $910,000 in July. It makes you really scratch your head. Tom, I had a house that 5 years ago I sold for, I believe it was $135, and it's worth over $300,000 now. And that's how it's almost doubled or more than doubled in that area in 5 years. That's crazy. Michael Dooley, ever been to Rodriguez area? I've probably passed through there. Zane Underwood says, message retracted. Timmy says, Pag recycled food from trash containers. Yes, it is. Dickie Spaz says, Leonard construction is booming in Arizona. Tons of apartment buildings as of late. Let's see. Jeeves Winston says, my house is paid. Have a truck payment. Living off of $26K this year so far. Saving my ass off in my last 28 months of work. Rod, let's see. I'd say try Royal Honey before doing Viagra. There we go. Timmy says carrots or cucumber. I like cucumbers. Michael Dooley, the Philippine is more accepting of everything. Yes, I think so. I would say that's probably true. That's probably why a lot of guys come here. But it does have its issues here too. It does have its underbelly. Renee Jimenez, pickles. I like pickles. I like dill pickles. I also like sweet pickles though too. William Hickey says, only here for a couple of months, but learn to only plan to get one thing done, at least in the Manila area, Antipolo. You need to have patience, which is fine as the people are great. Yeah, you definitely need patience here to put up with some of the stuff that goes on here sometimes. And I tend to lose my patience sometimes here, just like any other Westerner does, but I try to hold back. Michael S. says, India is turning into a Hindu theocracy, and I can understand the citizens of Bharat wanting to find a better life in the Philippines. We actually have 2 Indians in our group now. And it's kind of interesting to have 2 Indians in our group now, and they're really, really great people. I actually lived in a home back home before I came here with a bunch of guys, and one of them happened to be an Indian guy. We all get along. It was almost like Big Bang Theory. We all lived in the same house together. It was kind of cool, actually. RLV, Pag food usually from leftover foods at McDonald's or Jollibee, recycled food. They usually wash it or boil it, and then they resell it. GR must own 29 shares of Tesla and 0.13 coins of Bitcoin and retire in the Philippines and live in comfortable lifestyle in 10 years. I actually honestly believe that Tesla is going to do really, really well over the next 10 years. RLV says Pag means just to dust off. Timmy, now if you call 911, I hear in America you get the Bengal Lancers. Okay. Dickie Spaz says that's good, GR. All right, guys, we're up to about 70 minutes here, and I was going to do, let's see, it was about 10:30. So I'm going to call it a night tonight. We'll see. We got 99 people on here. I want to thank all you guys for joining tonight, and we will probably be on here next week. If not, just tune in the week after. Okay, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We're at the end of the thing here anyway, so I was gonna go on more if we still had some more things on here. But thanks guys for joining tonight, and I'm gonna try to do one at some point in the future, where maybe I'll do like a Wednesday night one or Thursday night one. I might do it like a surprise one. But anyway, thanks, Michael, for being moderator tonight. Arrow V says, sweet dreams, Steve. Same to you guys. Jeeves Winston, peace out, Steve. But thanks, guys. God bless. Take care. We'll see you probably next week or the week after. God bless, guys. Take care.